Looking through Netflix for the next show to stream can be a tedious task, particularly when you're trying to find some scary content. Before I Wake. Jacob Tremblay from the Oscar-nominated film Room proved that he's multi-talented in the Netflix original film Before I Wake.
This is Mr. and Mrs. Hobson.
Hi there.
Good morning.
Written and directed by Mike Flanagan, who worked on Netflix's popular The Haunting of Hill House series, takes viewers on an emotional journey in this high-concept chiller. Tremblay plays a child with the power to make his dreams become a reality while he sleeps.
That little boy's dreams come true. It's an amazing, beautiful thing.
Which starts out as a beautiful experience from his adoptive parents, until they realize his nightmares manifest as well. Fans of the Insidious movies should consider this especially. Veronica. Veronica follows a teenage girl who plays with a Ouija board with a group of friends to communicate with her father. After playing with the spirit board, strange occurrences begin to happen to her and her family. Instead of contacting her father as she'd hoped, she unexpectedly brought a malevolent spirit into her home, putting herself and her younger siblings in danger. This supernatural horror movie should appeal to fans of the Conjuring movies, with its demonic frights and well-paced build-up.
The red door, it's the only way in and out of the house. It stays closed and locked all the time. We never go out at night.
It comes at night. Years after a global pandemic has wiped out most of mankind, two families struggle to survive and coexist in a home hidden in the woods in this second feature from acclaimed writer and director Trey Edward Schultz, a small-scale sci-fi horror movie that packs a big punch.
If they're sick, then I am too.
It Comes at Night shows the extent to which people are willing to go in a worst-case scenario, without heavily relying on dialogue to tell the story. Apostle. Taking place during the early 1900s on a remote island, Apostle follows a prodigal son who is tasked with rescuing his sister from a cult as she's being held for ransom. As he becomes more involved with this cult, he quickly realizes that things are much darker than he had originally expected.
Shall be cleansed according to the edict of this land.
The promise of the divine is but an illusion.
Written and directed by Gareth Edwards, this is a movie that's sure to take viewers on a shocking journey, and it gets scarier and gorier by the minute. As Above, So Below. A sickly executed take on found footage horror, As Above, So Below follows a group of spelunkers and archaeologists as they search the world-famous catacombs beneath Paris for an unimaginable treasure. Full of supernatural chills and ghostly frights, it's a surprisingly dramatic movie that's always pulling one trick or another out of the bag to keep the audience engaged on the wild ride through the subterranean maze of ancient riddles and dark magic. Creep. Creep is a found footage film that follows Yosef and Aaron.
And I want you to film me to make a video diary for my unborn son. You ready for this?
Okay.
Aaron is a videographer who takes an assignment to help Yosef make a documentary for his unborn child as he struggles with a brain tumor. Feels like he won't be around when the child is born. However, Yosef starts acting rather bizarre and makes Aaron pretty uncomfortable throughout the entire time of shooting. As the story progresses, things get stranger and stranger. Aaron learns that Yosef's wife was actually his sister, and that he doesn't have a brain tumor at all. Yosef's sister warns Aaron to get away because her brother is dangerous.
Hello. You need to get out of that house right now.
Aaron escapes back to his home, but the madness doesn't stop there. 1922. 1922 is another Stephen King adaptation created by Netflix and focuses on a protagonist who perfectly fits the bill of Stephen King. This film is about a farmer whose crops aren't doing so well and a wife that drives him crazy.
I'm gonna sell. You, my son, are coming with me.
This is our house.
In 1922,
I murdered my wife.
He loves his son, and he would do anything to keep his boy by his side, instead of going off with his mother who wants to go to the big city. So the farmer does something drastic. 1922 focuses a lot on manifested guilt and regret, and the consequences of your actions. His House. After a refugee couple is moved into a new home in England,
This entire house is just for us.
It's gonna be nice, you're gonna be happy. As long as you can get along, fit in, be one of the good ones.
mysterious things begin to happen, as they discover they might not only be haunted by spirits in the house, but also demons from their past.
I saw something in the dark. You have felt it too.
This is a psychological horror film directed by first-time film director Remy Reeks. Since this film's released, it's received rave reviews and a perfect critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. This is a perfect film for observant viewers that love to analyze every detail. Hush. Hush is yet another unique horror movie written and directed by the horror expert Mike Flanagan. Following a deaf woman who was gone on a writer's retreat in a lonely home in the woods. As soon as she gets started on her work, she begins to realize that she's not alone after all, as she finds herself being attacked by a masked man who has invaded her new property. The Invitation. Another hidden gem on Netflix, The Invitation will take audience members on a journey they never saw coming, much like that of the main characters. It's been a while since Will saw his ex-wife Eden and their home together, so when he's invited to a dinner party by Eden and her new husband David, Will feels pretty reluctant to go. His new girlfriend Kira encourages him since all of his friends will be there, and he is still fairly close to Eden and David.
We don't see you for 2 years, and then all of a sudden, we get invited to this lavish dinner. Don't tell me that this is normal.
However, things begin to get weird, and Will feels like Eden and David, who've been acting strangely out of character, may have something dark planned for their guest. Under the Shadow. Psychological horror and supernatural horror go hand in hand, so, well, that makes many movie fans believe that there's little else to be done with the setup of a haunted family, and it's movies like Under the Shadow that show them just how wrong they are. Set up in 1980s Tehran, the story revolves around a young mother and her daughter as they adjust to a life uprooted by the ongoing war with neighboring Iraq, and the results of past revolutionary life, and what that means for women in the future of Iran. Their fears and anxiety manifesting in the form of demonic forces that stalks them in their building, pushing them to their limits.
No ID, no fingerprints in the system. For now, she's a Jane Doe.
The Autopsy of Jane Doe. The Autopsy of Jane Doe was a super interesting film. A body appears at a morgue, with no information on how she died or who she was. Thus, she is given the title of Jane Doe.
What happened to you?
First, they bound her, then they ripped out her tongue, poisoned her, paralyzed her.
Stranger things begin to happen to the coroners, who begin investigating her death. Slowly, the plot gets revealed as supernatural occurrences start happening in the morgue.
We have seen.
And the coroners begin wondering if Jane Doe is really dead, or if something else is going on. The Witch. The Witch is what horror fans like to call a slow burn. The film started a massive hype around A24's horror movies for being utterly chilling and quite mind-bending.
Boo! There you are. Boo!
It is set in 1630 New England and follows a family consumed by fear and paranoia at the loss of their youngest child, a baby. The main character, Thomasin, is the oldest of the siblings and is thought to be a witch by her younger siblings, and is blamed by her parent for the baby's disappearance. The film will have viewers trying to figure out the ending, attempting to piece together each clue before the finale. That's it, guys. If you like this video, kindly give it a thumbs up, and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel.